Last night I was at Applebee's, and I was eating with my lady, and the server's like a 19-year-old blonde girl. She comes up to me, she goes, I know this is going to sound really weird, but she goes, one of the workers in the back saw you, and he just wondered if your name was J Biggs. And then this fucking like little dude comes out of the back, and he's like, man, I watch your videos on Wrestling with Regret with Brian all the time.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, I love you guys. And
that's so cool. What a small world.
I wrote down his fucking name or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, you know, like maybe one day we'll give you a shout out or something.
Well, Applebee's kid in Reno, Nevada. There you go.
Yeah.
Consider yourself lucky. Consider yourself blessed that you encountered the one and only Anthony Fantano. I mean, J Biggs. Live in person. Hey everybody, Brian Zane here. I am joined by old Egghead here. It's Mr. J Biggs. And we're already losing it, folks. But the Royal Rumble is upon us, and I'm really excited for this weekend. Now, Biggs, I know you're super excited because you're going to be in Houston.
Yeah, man. I'm actually going with a good friend of ours.
Before you leave, I have to get your thoughts and your predictions for what's going to happen at the Rumble this Sunday. Let's just begin with this match that, until I looked at my phone 2 minutes ago to do this card, I had no idea what was happening because I don't watch SmackDown that closely. Sheamus versus Shorty G. Of course, Sheamus is back on the main roster after a lot of rumors that he was going to be retiring. And he's here, and his first feud back is against the former Chad Gable, the basketball shorts wearing Shorty G.
Weird.
So again, I have to say, I don't watch SmackDown. Pretty much I get all my information from Alex's reviews on this channel, and then I read results as well. It seems to me pretty academic he's going to win here against Mr. G. But beyond that, I have no other thoughts. I think it's going to be a good match. I don't think it's going to be a squash per se. Chad's going to give him what for and look good in defeat, I think. What about you?
I think it's a weird match to be added to the Royal Rumble card. It seems like a pre-show match, and at best, if you were going to add it to the actual card itself, it seems like one of those matches they would have done back in the day where the winner gets spot number 30 and the loser gets spot number 1 or something like that in the Royal Rumble. Like, I don't know. It's just weird, but that being said, I'm pretty much on board with you. It'd be weird for Sheamus to lose at this point, especially to, God, this character, Shorty G.
All 5'10" of him. I got 1 inch on him.
I was into Chad Gable when he was wrestling in the King of the Ring. I got into him for like 3 weeks. I'm like, wow, he could actually be pretty cool. And so now it's just like, what is this?
No, yeah, then they totally killed his momentum. It's like you never heard from him again. Sheamus and Shorty G, weird match to put in the Rumble, but yeah, Sheamus pretty much we're in agreement. He's going to win that one. Yeah. A match that was just added after Raw this week is that Andrade is going to be defending the U.S. title against Humberto Carrillo, who we've not seen for a few weeks. He was taken out by Mr. Andrade, Mr. Almas, on the concrete, and he came back after the match with Rey Mysterio. So they're restarting that feud again. I have no illusions that this match is going to be bad per se. No. I think it's going to be a great match. These two have had a great history together. But Biggs, what are your thoughts on this match? Humberto coming back.
I think that the way WWE works is they don't book for right then and there. They book for long term. So I feel like
that's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that in the last 5 years. But do go on.
No. When I say that, I don't mean it like long term as in what we consider long term being wrestling fans that grew up in the 80s and 90s. I'm talking long term as now, and so that means like 2 months or 3 months in advance. That's so before WrestleMania is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So a calendar year BW before WrestleMania. So what I would say with that is that they're probably going to have Carrillo lose here in some fashion. He's going to look strong, but it'll be a Raw or possibly the next pay-per-view when he actually does capture the belt if he does. And I think that would be a good thing for Humberto.
I don't know if Humberto's ever going to actually win the U.S. title. I mean, especially off Andrade. It could be just one of those one-sided things where he never really wins it, but he looked strong in defeat and whatnot. I do agree with you that Andrade is going to win this one. I mean, gosh, keep using the formula that works, I guess. Have Zelina Vega interfere somehow. But yeah, again, it's going to be a great match. I'm sure it'll have some fantastic athleticism and good lucha things. But yeah, not Humberto's night. Let's take a sidebar for a minute, because this match is rumored to go on, but at the time of this recording has not been made official. Shinsuke Nakamura defending the IC title against Braun Strowman. They've only been like building this feud forever, it feels like at this point.
Right.
But no match has been made official, and so I'm wondering if we're hedging our bets. Assuming this match is going to happen at the Rumble, let's talk about it. So, Biggs, what are your thoughts about Braun Strowman challenging for the Intercontinental Championship? Does that feel out of place to you?
It does, but I mean, this goes back so far, Brian, since everything that they have done wrong with Braun Strowman, in my opinion. So yeah, it does feel weird because it's obviously a mid-title versus the World Championship, and he's this huge guy, and in my opinion, like that's where they should place him in a way. But That being said, you know, I mean, it's gonna be a one-sided match in my opinion as far as Shinsuke getting pummeled by Strowman, but I think the other two guys are going to come into play.
Zane and Cesaro.
Yeah, so with them on the outside, for some reason, I just don't see Strowman winning, but maybe. It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like where it feels kind of like reminiscent of when Kane was challenging for the IC title years ago after being this world title contender, and they kind of kept knocking him down. It's kind of almost concession for him to be challenging for that. That's how I feel right now with Braun Strowman, who in many ways is kind of like this generation's version of Kane, where he's this big unkillable monster, and then he loses so much, he loses a lot of his steam at what makes him special, and now we have to try and slowly reintegrate him back into like being a badass again.
Oh, also, and that he's facing heel all the time. So.
That's true. But yeah, I think he's going to be, this one, if it does happen, I think it'll be another situation where, like maybe Shinsuke pulls out some dirty tricks with Sami Zayn or Cesaro to hold on to the championship. And he'll get the tar beat out of him before that and everything. But yeah, Strowman will have his revenge at some point, maybe at WrestleMania. Again, we're just kind of thinking long term here. But yeah, assuming this match happens, I think we're both in agreement, again, that Shinsuke will win Ske.
Yep.
It is a feud that will never die. Roman Reigns taking on King Corbin in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This stipulation was determined after Roman beat Robert Roode in a tables match last week on SmackDown. Boy, I sure hope this is the end. I hope this is the end for these two. I'm not saying in a grand scheme of things, I'm not hoping a giant meteor hits the ring when they're in there and just both go away. I just hope this is the end of their feud. They can move on to do whatever else. I don't care as long as it's not this. What are your thoughts about this matchup?
Wasn't that the same? I forget who it was now, thank God, but wasn't that the same deal with Corbin's last feud?
I feel like
it just felt like it kept going and going and going and going.
That is kind of the MO with Corbin now, where he's put in these seemingly endless feuds where he ultimately just gets the win, and like fans just pray for death because they're just so tired. Like literally, I was so.
I don't hate Corbin. That's the thing. I actually like he's hateable. He's like the guy you love to hate.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you love to hate. He's doing his job, and so you can't fault him for that. And it's kind of like what you said earlier about Chad Gable, where it's like, man, he was so good at King of the Ring. Corbin like really won me over at King of the Ring, where man, he's putting these badass matches. I mean, everything I've known about him up to this point is wrong, or it's been like reevaluated after all this time. Maybe this is a good place for him, but no, it's like this, he's back to where he was almost. You know, this time last year, he's just constantly just being involved in the main event things. He's trolling people with his mere existence. But man, I hope that this is finally the end, and I hope that Roman just puts us out of our misery by beating Corbin in this Falls Count Anywhere matchup, because he lost the last pay-per-view match. He lost that TLC match.
Right.
So I would see Roman getting his revenge here, beating Corbin. What do you think?
I would say so, and you know, like I told you earlier, it's good that the rumors that it was going to be a loser eats dog food match is not the case.
That's the first time I heard that one.
Really?
Too,
I'd heard that rampantly this week online. But anyways, so that being said, I don't know. I think that, we're going to see Roman finally get that win in front of the huge crowd and everything. It's going to be great. And hopefully they fight all over the stadium. That's going to be cool.
That'd be cool. Like maybe utilize maybe there's some like loose bases just kind of chilling around. They'll hit each other with it. I don't know. Really play into the baseball flavor of this one.
Maybe I'll get in a camera shot somewhere.
In the middle of January. Baseball fever, baby. Bayley will defend the SmackDown Women's Championship against the newly turned babyface, even though it makes absolutely no sense, Lacey Evans.
That's right, you nasties.
Yeah, it basically hinges on the fact that, you know, it's very fortunate that Lacey Evans served in the Marines, because it's an easy way to make her a babyface, because everyone loves the troops. And so, and
her and Bobby Lashley should be a team.
Oh God, what a dream team right there. Yeah, I don't think Bobby actually was a Marine. I think he was Army. We were just talking before we started rolling on this. It feels like Bayley's going to win this one, right?
Yeah, and as I was saying, I think that really what they're holding on for, but I've thought this a lot in the last couple of years, was Bayley and Sasha having a one-on-one, you know, but it's like it just hasn't happened.
Talk about a woman who's lost a lot of momentum after coming back. When Sasha Banks came back, she had all this momentum, and then she had that feud with Becky Lynch that I think really should have gone a different way than it did. And then aligning herself with Bayley again, cool. Getting hurt, not cool, and I think really derailed a lot of her momentum. And so now she's just kind of playing second fiddle to Bayley. But I think what you were telling me and what Alex said on SmackDown Review, and I'm kind of agreeing with here, here, I hope this eventually leads to some kind of breakup, some blow up between Bayley and Sasha.
Right.
And maybe Sasha. I don't want her to be babyface though, because I think she's too good of a heel, and she's not a very good babyface. But I think Bayley's going to win this one, and whether it's going to build to something for Bayley and Sasha to blow up, who's to say? But I think the result's going to be ultimately Bayley wins. What about you?
I would go with Bayley on this one somehow, some way.
Moving over to the Raw side of things, Becky Lynch will defend her Raw Women's Championship against Asuka. And what a tangled web we've weaved. What a long, strange journey it's been for Becky and Asuka since last year's Royal Rumble when they faced off and the shoe was on the other foot. Asuka was the women's champion of SmackDown. Everyone thought Becky was going to win, but Asuka pulled out the big victory, and that was considered a huge upset, I think. But then, of course, later that night, Becky went on to win the Rumble match. Now, 1 year later, Asuka's had a lot of stop and go. She was a champion, lost to Charlotte right before Mania, didn't do dick with her for a while until she and Kairi teamed up, and then they finally won the Women's Championships, the tag team titles. And Becky's still rolling along as the Raw Women's Champion. A lot of fans out there are kind of tired of Becky's shtick as champion. I'm not at that point yet, but that's just kind of the nature of a lot of fans, where once the person they want to win wins, they're sick of them. I feel that's what they're experiencing with Becky Lynch right now.
I just feel like Asuka is another stop on her way again to like WrestleMania with whatever it is she's doing, and it would be almost dumb in my opinion right now because they have invested so much in Becky in the last year to just stop her momentum, because whatever they've been doing, they can capitalize on and get a huge finish for it at WrestleMania. That's where you really should, in my opinion, that's where you should aim to try to do a big finish on, blow off on something. So if she's going to lose the belt to somebody and she hasn't yet, I can't think of another woman in the division other than I'm thinking to myself, is Rousey going to come back? The Women's Royal Rumble interests me this year because there's not a lot of people that have been in, that they've said, hey, here's going to be a participant.
There's no one.
Right. So I just don't think Asuka has been strong enough the last year. She's been in a tag team situation to really make sense for her to beat Becky going into WrestleMania. That's just my opinion.
Well, to echo what you said, I think it's not an issue of strength. I think it's just an issue of if Asuka wins, what then happens, because she's already in a championship team with Kairi Sane. They're already women's tag team champions. I don't expect her to be defending both those belts all the time, and it's one of those things where I think the story dictates that Becky finally slays that last dragon, and on the way to WrestleMania, where she might drop the belt to somebody who really knows. But it's I think Becky's gonna finally overcome and win. I don't see Asuka being a double champion right now. I think she and Kairi, they need each other at this point, because like you said, it's not like that Asuka is weak at this point, but she's been part of a tag team with Kairi for so long. I think she just basically needs to keep that team together, keep repping the belts, and go from there. So my pick is that Becky's gonna win, and you said Becky's gonna win.
Absolutely.
And so then when we get to the Women's Rumble match, I'm sure we're gonna have some things to say about that. In a Yapapai Indian strap match, you have Daniel Bryan challenging the Fiend Bray Wyatt for the Universal Championship. This one really is intriguing because not only is it just the Fiend, who automatically garners a lot of interest and attention and question marks, but also Daniel Bryan, who's got this new persona, or at least a new look, a new intensity about him. He's back to the American Dragon look of old, shaving the head, not so more stubble than a beard.
His NXT look.
Yeah, it is very close to his NXT look, and it's a different Daniel Bryan than what we saw, and going against Wyatt, who he has a lot of history with, which to their credit, they've done a good job playing up on and acknowledging their history when Daniel was a part of the Wyatt family for that very brief time several years ago. So the history's there, the intrigue is there, but man, it's just looking through the whole card, I'm like, man, I just don't think anyone's going to be dropping their titles on this night. It's just, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they gotta kind of hold things steady for WrestleMania.
Right.
And also, there's another Saudi show before WrestleMania.
Yeah, there is. It's February 22nd or something.
So they've got to keep that momentum churning along, I would imagine. So yeah, as exciting as it would be to see Daniel win here, I just don't see it happening because the Fiend is just this ungodly character, and if they have him actually lose a match, then all those months of planning and stuff just flush down the drain. Like
you said, it's like they're holding on until WrestleMania. I don't see much changing. Maybe there is, but then again, we are fans from back in the day where things, when you just were automatically assuming because Royal Rumble was the last pay-per-view when we were growing up before WrestleMania. That was all the build. So there's all your build, maybe Elimination Chamber, but there's so much room for things to switch around now between Mania. It's still a quarter of a year.
That's true. I'm not saying that, it's like I'm not ruling out the possibility that titles will change hands on this show. I mean, they could still surprise us. They are known to occasionally do that. I just think that there's no real opportunity. Like, what do you do? What's the next step? How do you justify that going into WrestleMania? So that's why I'm just wondering what the hell's going to happen.
Right,
so,
no, I am too. I'm with you.
So my pick is Daniel Bryan losing. I was about to say winning. No, Bray Wyatt wins. Daniel Bryan does not win. Women's Rumble match. This one is a real toss-up, real head-scratcher here. Here are the names that are confirmed. Are you ready? Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Sarah Logan. That's it. You have 26 other spots left to fill, people. What are you doing? I'm sure they're going to have maybe one or two more names on SmackDown before this, after this has been recorded. But like, what a weird... It's like, it's so crazy when you think a couple of years ago how much time and effort they put into the women's evolution, revolution, whatever, and how much care and craftsmanship went into those last couple of women's Rumble matches. This one, like, what do you do? Like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of NXT ladies involved. I'm sure every other woman who's signed is going to be involved somehow in the main roster. There's not announced yet, not confirmed. But like, how can you even predict this one?
Yeah, I have an idea who I have. Well, I'm tossed up between two. So, and it's much like the men's Rumble too. So,
Yeah.
But I like to throw out oddball things so that if it does happen, I can go, "Yay, I knew it." We've got a returning Nia Jax. We don't know if that's going to.
Do you know if she's returning? Do you know if she's ready to go?
I was under the assumption she was cleared a while, maybe a month or two back.
Surprised.
And they just haven't done anything with her yet. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if she's coming back face or heel. That being said, too, I think that Shayna Baszler is. I think it's a. If there's somebody that they have played up to be strong enough to take on Becky Lynch and really give you that match, that's going to be like, who's going to win this?
That makes the most sense too, because I mean, they had the feud going into it at Survivor Series, so they could easily pick up where they left off. If she comes back and actually wins the Rumble,
Right.
The fact that I mean, I find it okay that they haven't announced her to be in the match yet. I mean, she can be a surprise entrant or whatever.
Right.
It's just the fact that no one else has been announced. It's this whole wide open thing where it just feels it's not being looked at, not being cared for.
Right.
Everyone's going to be a surprise because no one's announced. But yeah, I think Shayna Baszler seems like the easy bet, and I basically think it's like down to her and Charlotte. The way they've been building Charlotte for the build to this matchup, like she is like the number one person they've been talking about across either show right now. So I mean, she is definitely, I think, a candidate to win. But I think if it's down between her and Shayna, I would say Shayna Baszler wins. But what do you think?
I'm gonna go with Shayna. I think that's, for some reason, it's the best pick for a Mania match for Becky.
I think, it's kind of, I was just talking about how underbuilt and underdeveloped this match is. What a great way to compensate for it by having someone like Shayna Baszler come from NXT and actually win the thing. And it would be a nice piece, it'd be a nice bit of history too, because to have the first NXT star to win a Rumble match would be pretty cool.
Right.
And so I feel it's high time they have some more history made, with the women's matches and stuff. So what better way to do that than have Shayna, win and be from NXT and win that match?
Well, I will say this: it might not be history as the first person, but we'll have to talk about the men's Royal Rumble. We just don't know which Rumble's going on last. So,
well, I don't think it's gonna be that one. Finally, it's the men's Rumble match. This one is a lot more filled out in terms of the people who are involved. Here are the confirmed entrants: Brock Lesnar at number 1. He is the champion, by the way. Roman Reigns, King Corbin, so they'll be pulling double duty. Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Elias, Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Otis, Tucker, Rusev, Lashley, Ali Black, Bud Murph, Braun Strowman, Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Samoa Joe. And I think at my last count I had, it's about 7 or 8 spots left.
that's a strong Rumble.
It's a very strong Rumble. It's very star-studded. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room for jobbers.
No. Otis and Tucker are the only ones that are kind of oddly thrown in there because they're a tag team, but even those guys are so freaking huge.
Yeah, and they'll get some cool spot where Otis gets to gyrate and get a pop for that and stuff. So I'm sure he'll be having a nice moment in the Rumble match as well. Flashbacks, shades of another goofy ass tag team. I'm trying to think of other like surprise people. I know Cain Velasquez said he's going to be in the Rumble match.
Oh wow!
But it's obviously not confirmed yet. But I mean, to have him be in that match would be interesting. I know there's rumors that Tyson Fury might get involved. It might be the one facing Lesnar at WrestleMania, which I'm not looking forward to. But that would be a way to justify him being in the Rumble match. That almost to me seems like overkill to have Fury and Velasquez in the Rumble match at the same time. We'll have to see what happens there, but I believe at least one of them will be in that matchup. As far as I'm trying to think like what other surprises you could possibly have. I don't think anyone from All Elite's going to show up, guys. I'm just going to say it now.
Well, yeah, right. You know, it's Luchasaurus.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
The hopes are one, Matt Riddle. I would like to see Matt Riddle in the Rumble.
A lot of NXT guys we haven't taken into account. Like a lot of people who could enter that matchup.
I think that, so I would love to see Matt Riddle in there. I would also like to see Keith Lee in the Rumble. And here's what I think. I think that they have an opportunity to really, well, they could either screw this up by not having what I think should go down happen or not. But either way, Lesnar goes through everybody. Somebody at the end throws over Lesnar. That right there is the match for Mania.
Right.
And they just build to it.
Whoever eliminates Lesnar, and I don't think he's going to win, whoever eliminates Lesnar is going to be the person he's feuding with. But whether or not he's going to win the match, that's a whole other thing.
Well, right. Exactly. But that being said, I would like to see, I think the best, if you could possibly take anybody out of any of the rosters or anything, I think the most credible person would be Keith Lee.
Really?
I would like to see Keith Lee. He's got the size, the people can get behind him. His work rate is awesome.
He's great.
And he's huge. I mean, he looks like he could wrestle Lesnar, you know. It's more believable than Rollins.
That's the thing. I think the far more compelling choice is to have someone from Raw or NXT picking Raw to fight Lesnar, because I can't think of anyone right now on SmackDown who's like, oh, that match with Bray Wyatt would be a lot of fun. That one I'm really interested in. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities of who could face Lesnar. I think that's the real story here, is someone winning to face Lesnar, not so much winning to face Bray Wyatt. That is a match that will be determined like at the next pay-per-view, number one contendership or something. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be a really hard one to pick. That being said, who you got to win the Royal Rumble?
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, he says.
That's why I said I'm going with two NXT people. That's why, it's a weird out thing. But hey, listen, they did it at Survivor Series. Did we think they were going to do the win there?
No.
I mean, they had to in order to kind of get them over. But now it's acceptable.
And I think that they did a really good job at Survivor Series, especially building up Keith Lee. Almost as if they're planting the seeds for something. I don't know if Keith Lee's going to win this one. I don't know. I'm going to say Roman Reigns. I don't know. Maybe he wins.
Oh, no.
Like, does he really? No, actually, no. Then he win two matches at once. So maybe, I don't know, but never mind. I would throw my Roman Reigns. Because the more I think about it, it's like, nah, it's too much.
You can never say he's all on AEW's dick anymore after that kind of shit. Jeez, he went right to the mark status with the Roman Reigns.
I don't know. It's at times it feels like a safe bet, because like I just honestly can't.
Well, it is a safe bet.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck, I'm gonna say McIntyre. I say McIntyre wins. That's gonna be my pick. You know what? Shot in the dark.
Titus O'Neil.
He'll be the number 30. He's a surprise entrant.
Yeah, coming from under the ring.
He'll actually slide all the way through it.
They're gonna his entrance is gonna include a slip and slide from now on. Like Shorty G. Him and Shorty G will come out and he'll shoot a basketball. And he'll shoot.
What? What? Where are you going with that one?
That's the most ridiculous shit you could do with somebody's gimmick, right?
That is an odd couple parody.
Anyway,
sure.
I'm joking.
Well, who do you got winning the Rumble pay-per-view? The whole pay-per-view, the whole dang thing. Who's going to win the whole thing? Let us know in the comment section below. All the matches, Rumble and otherwise. You've heard our picks. We'll see you on the other side with a Royal Rumble review happening on Monday. Of course, Biggs, you're going to be there. Best of luck to you in your endeavors being there at the stadium, and I hope you have a great time at the show. And let us know what you think is going to happen this Sunday. For J Biggs, I'm Bryan Zane. We'll see you next time.